In a digital age in which information has taken over and there's an app for everything, we the consumer can be left lost by the sheer complexity and the amount of apps available to us. There are apps that promise to save us money, and apps that offer cash back. There are apps that give us discounts on shopping, apps that provide deals on travel, apps that help us learn finances, even others that teach us life skills. But knowing which apps to choose and use requires constant diligence and energy we just don't have or want to expend. It would be so much easier if we could just get everything we needed in one simple, all-in-one, easy-to-use app, one that truly makes a difference in our lives. And now we can. Introducing Life's Super App, the only app that combines all of this functionality and more in one place for you. The stack of value inside is centered around our core belief. That is, our products should help you have fun, make money, and make a difference. But how exactly? First, just for subscribing, you'll receive 30 trip credits each month. This is the equivalent of getting $30 a month in credits. These credits can be redeemed immediately towards deep discounts on hotel stays, or accumulate them and redeem them later on super deep discounts towards an extensive portfolio of lifetime trip destinations. So just think, even if you forget about the app, you can open it up months later and have a balance of trip credits waiting for you when you return. Fun, right? Well, in addition to having fun, our subscribers can also make money. And let's be honest, what's more fun than that? While shopping at hundreds of national brand merchants, you already do. Use the Super App at checkout and you'll earn immediate cash back up to 20%. In 2019 alone, the Super App paid out over $540,000 to our subscribers. But you can also earn our virtual currency called Dibs. Those dibs can be collected, saved, and used for even more purchases down the road. And through the Super App, you'll get access to our digital marketplace with incomparable products and services carrying exclusive deals and, oh right, a chance to earn even more trip credits. And if that weren't enough, you'll get access to exclusive coupon deals through our Saver service. With over 350,000 in-store and over 230,000 mobile locations from both local and national brands, you are sure to find plenty of ways to save. But to add even more value, you will also have access to Groupon and its full functionality and savings tucked right inside the app. Besides all of this, and perhaps the most important value of all, our app can make a difference in all areas of your life. Our best-selling product of all time, the Financial Fitness Program, and all its life-changing content is housed right inside the app as well. This unique product can radically change the direction of your finances, no matter where you're at. Simply put, it has helped thousands get out of debt, stay out of debt, and prosper in any economy. But there's even more. The Super App houses our personal development radio station called Rascal Radio. With full offline capability, you'll receive a library of over 3,000 audios from top thought leaders, New York Times best-selling authors, and others. The topics inside were carefully chosen to help you improve your ability to lead, increase your marketability in the workforce, and so much more. Oh, and one more thing, we'll even reward our customers who refer the app. Our subscribers receive 10 more trip credits just for referring the app. With all of this value, it's no wonder thousands have subscribed and continue to each day. Try it for yourself. It's time for a smarter you. It's time to have fun, make money, and make a difference. It's time to subscribe to Life's Super App.
Wow, love that video. All right, I'm really excited about being able to introduce to you tonight our speaker. He is, success comes in many, many different forms. We often think of success in just terms of finances and money, but it shows up in people's lives in so many different levels. This gentleman who's presenting tonight has helped hundreds of people financially in their lives, giving it as a business coach, an entrepreneur, helping them through stressful situations. But not only that, he's got the kind of marriage that people look up to. He's got 4 boys that people admire him and his parenting skills. He has had success in business. He's had success in careers. He was in the military for 8 years, in the Air Force, fighter pilot, and now he's airline pilot in the largest airline here in the Atlanta area, flying some of the biggest jets. So they actually trust him with everyone's, many people's lives. This gentleman is here tonight to share his expertise with this information around this super app. And I am really excited to introduce to you my friend, my mentor, Mr. Randy Spence.
Hey, Rick, thanks so much for that introduction. I tell you, listen to that, I thought maybe I should take some notes, because after all those things you said, I can't really wait to hear what I have to say either. So I am excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this all day. I love talking about what we're talking about right now. We have our hands on an app that's a payment platform that's absolutely going viral. And I'm going to jump right into this and talk to you about, there's really two ways to approach this. At first, I'm going to talk to you about a basic customer point of view. And if that's what you want, you're going to love what you see tonight. And then I'll talk about how you can possibly monetize that app I'm going to talk to you about and succeed with us on the business side as well. So let me jump right into screen sharing right here and talk to you about what's going on. You all just saw that 4-minute video, which I believe is a game changer. So I'm just going to start with the features and benefits here. If you were a customer, how would you use this particular product? Well, you would walk into a store of some kind, any one of these stores. We have a relationship with close to 400 stores at several thousand different locations where we can use these products. And if you're in a store, I'm going to jump over to a broadcast here. If you're in a store of some kind and you want to use one of these, all we have to talk to you about how to do there is how to shop differently. If you notice on the app right here, you'll see the first 3 rows are labeled, okay? Have fun, make money, make a difference. I'm going to come down right here to make money, because if I was in any of those hundreds of stores I showed you a second ago, right? I would pull this up and I would start looking. If I was sitting right here in front of you, I'd start showing you, look at these apps. And I like people just scroll through here, and as you look through it, anyone you've been in the last year, I want you to say yes. And people go, yes, 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 yes. That's just the A's. Let me jump down here to the P's, because I sometimes do meetings in Panera Bread, right? Right down here in the P's. If Papa John's is big one, Petco is big one, bought some food there today, et cetera, et cetera. So if I were in let's just use Panera Bread. If I were in Panera Bread right now and I shopped, I would get a 4.5% return. I would open their app, and let's say I was done, and at the counter she said your bill was $22.22. I type that in there, I hit continue. Now what I have to do is select how I'm going to pay for it. I have preloaded several credit cards and debit cards in here, or I can also go down to something I'll talk about in a second called the e-wallet, which is just cash that's been uploaded, okay? I then hit complete purchase, and what happens is if I hit that place order button, what would happen is a barcode would spit up that she could scan, and she would be paid on a digital gift card. If I'm in a restaurant, I can do the same exact thing, give them a little 16-digit number, they take it away, include the tip in that, and they get paid instantly. And the second that happens, this is pretty cool, right? On the top of this app, you'll see some codes up here, right? If you see these 4 boxes across the top, the second that happens, what happens is these numbers go up. Now, I want you to ignore that left one that says e-wallet balance. I'll cover that in a second. That's just money that I have pre-uploaded from my bank account via ACH into the app so I can pay cash. But what would happen at Panera Bread is that cash earned right there where it says $300 some, that would go up by, what was it, 5.4%. Okay. If I used cash that I've uploaded to this app instead of a credit card, that next column called dibs would go up. By the way, 1 dibs is $1. You get an extra 4% in every purchase. So the scenario I just showed you, we would have gotten 9.5% back. And I'll cover this last column, trip credits, here in a second. Now, this app, as a customer, is a $30 a month subscription. But for that, it's virtually free because you get 30 trip credits in that process. And I'll cover that in a second. So I'm going to show you a little bit more here about this entire app and the way this works. But those are stores you shop at right now. Let's talk about how we'd use that. So there's also in there another feature, both Groupon and coupons. I'm not a coupon clicker. I'm not a clipper. I'm not a coupon, easy for you to say, not a coupon saver, but this has 350,000 stores in there. You shop someplace, the coupon is right there, and you can use the coupons on top of the benefit we just showed you. The same thing with Groupon. So you can double dip. For instance, I'll give you an example. We held a Super Bowl party here back whenever the Super Bowl was, right? I ordered from Papa John's. Papa John's at the time had a coupon in here for 35% off. Ordered a couple $100 worth of pizzas, right? And then when it came, I paid for it with my app, and there was 10% off there. And then I used cash, so I got a 4% return on top of that. That added up to 49% return. With 4 teenage boys that love pizza, that's a pretty darn good return. So that's the process. So you can double dip with these coupons. If you don't have a coupon, it's all built in here. The next thing you can do in here is we have products in here. We used to be, as you'll hear here in a second, a learning company. And we have put our top 2 products in here totally for free. The one on the left is called the Financial Fitness Program. Okay, what that is an all-inclusive program that educates people at a common level, both the offense, the defense, and the playing field of personal finances. It's 9 audios, a book, a workbook, an app, and 47 videos that train you in something anybody can understand exactly how to manage money. Right now, it's very apropos. I had CPAs that were retailing this before it was free in this app for $350. Great value. The one on the right called Rascal Radio. Very similar to a Pandora or a Spotify. Thousands of audios that teach you, and you can choose what you want to hear about. I want to hear about leadership. I want to hear about marriage. I want to hear about financial principles, all kinds of educational materials. That alone at one point was a $50 a month subscription, all included in this same app for $30. And the next piece is this trip credits is the travel piece. This is exciting. Now, obviously right now, no one's traveling, but we have partnered with Priceline, and they've created a website called A Thing or Two Travel. It's an app, which gives us great discounts. When you subscribe to this app, again, it's $30 a month. You get 30 trip credits, which you can use right now to buy down travel. Last month, 2 of my boys qualified for the state championships wrestling down in Macon, Georgia, not that far from where I'm talking to you from. And my wife said, okay, I found a hotel down there. It's $150 a night. It's the best hotel I can find. On this app, because it's Priceline and we're behind a subscription model, they lowered the price for us. And then we're able to use these trip credits even further, and it came down to $85 a night. Now, coming shortly, we've postponed this a little bit because of the travel bans right now, is there are 12,000 resorts in the world. We're about to have, it's not going to happen early April, but we're about to have 10,000 of those resorts on this app at discounts up to 66% off. And so those are coming shortly, but watch this. I did look at a hotel yesterday, right? In Cancun right now, if you shop for a hotel, look at that view, right? Would you mind be sitting there right now and looking at that pool, looking at that ocean, just a beautiful blue with that aqua blue out there? If you shop for that in the app right now, if you look, right now it's discounted down to the online rate through A Thing or Two Travel, which is a great price, $200 a night. If you use trip credits there as well, you can get it down to $135 a night. Now, if you notice, it says to do that, you need 420 trip credits. I only have 320 because I've used a bunch of them. So you can buy trip credits using dibs or dollars for 30 cents on the dollar. And it says that it would save me $420 just in that 5-night stay. Now, I'm not real good at math, but that's like 14 months worth of that $30 app, if nothing else. It's a great value, and more coming with that process. So just in quick summary, from a customer point of view, $30 a month gives you 30 trip credits, virtually free. Again, 1 trip credit is equal to $1. You get immediate cash back. Okay, it's put into your app right there, and you can take that app and walk. You can shop at Panera Bread and walk right across the street to Home Depot and buy things using that cash. If you've used if you use dibs, you get our virtual currency there. Notice if you've uploaded cash to your wallet, you get an additional 4% on top of that, also immediately spendable. You can use those coupons and double dip like we talked about. You get discounted travel, additional savings, as well as the educational material, Rascal Radio, Financial Fit. Now that's a whole heck of a list, but that's the general features and benefits of the app itself from a customer point of view. You know what everybody says? Well, that just makes sense. It's kind of like this, right? If I said, tell you what, you give me $30, I'll give you at least $100 back. Would you take that deal? All day long. And that's exactly what it is that everybody does. So that's kind of the customer side of things. Let me talk to you about the member side of things for a second. And I'm going to come out of screen share for a second and talk to this, because this is what changed our lives. We were looking, if you will, right? What happened with me is, as Rick said, I worked for a huge airline. And years ago now, they declared bankruptcy. And when they did that, my wife and I took a substantial pay cut, a 6-figure pay cut. I didn't manage that very well. And within a few years, we had 6 figures in credit card debt. And I started looking. Through a series of friends, I was introduced to someone by the name of Dan Hawkins. You're going to meet him in just a few minutes. Dan Hawkins is a former auto mechanic. His wife, Lisa, is a daycare provider. And here's what intrigued me. They said, Randy, you need to meet this guy, because even though he's 18 years younger than you, he makes more money every month than you make every year. Like, excuse me? Okay. I'm not real good at math, but that's a pretty good life. All right. That's a pretty good lifestyle. And what I found when we met him, by the way, was it was more than just money. Dan had the whole success package. Happily married to Lisa for many, many years. He's a fantastic father to 5 daughters. He's very successful. He wrote a book called Swing a few years ago, which became a national bestseller. Now, if any of my friends had that kind of success, they'd be like, hey, look at me. I'm the man, right? Dan's not that way at all. As you'll see here in a few minutes, he's down to earth. He's relatable. He's real. He's now one of my best friends. He's become my mentor. But my wife's name is Rusti. Rusti and I sat down with Dan and Lisa, and I said real simply, Dan, you've got the success I want. Is there something we can do together? And I want to kind of paraphrase, because Dan says most of this nicer and softer than I'll paraphrase it, but here's what I heard. He says, Randy, whether or not we can do something together depends a lot on your motivation. He said, what are you looking for in life you're not on track to get? And I said, Dan, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm kind of a detail person, kind of a number person. I said, could we just kind of cut to the chase and get to the facts a little bit? And what he basically said is, Randy, the facts are that if you don't have some things in your life that you're looking for, you're really not going to be qualified for what I'm looking for. And to be honest with you, I was a little bit put off by that. I've got a pretty good sized ego. I like to think that I qualify for most things. But he went on to explain to me, he said, motivation is an inside job. He said, I can't motivate you to do anything. You're the only one who can motivate you. He said, so why should I show you something different if you're not first looking for something different? So if you aim at nothing in life, you're probably going to hit it. Nothing. And, you have to have a target. You have to have a goal. If you don't know where you're going, be careful because you're probably already there. He said, so let me show you some things, and we'll get back to that question in just a second. But what he showed me very simply, I lost some sleep over for a little while. What he showed me was something that we call the cash flow quadrant. And it basically just describes in North America how there are 4 ways to make money. We can be an employee in this quadrant here. We can be self-employed. We can be a business owner, or we can be an investor. Now, investor was kind of off the table for me right away because that's someone who makes at least $1 million a year off their income and could afford to lose $250,000 in any one deal and not lose sleep over it. So I was about $1 million short of that, right? Because I was in a lot of debt. I said, but what's the difference between an S business and a B business? He said, an S business owner has to be there to make money. Doctors, lawyers, consultants, accountants, if we don't show up, we don't get paid. A B business owner is different because they put a franchise-like system in place that will run the company when they're not around. And the example he used with me was McDonald's, right? You rarely see the owner of a McDonald's in a McDonald's. Well, here's what he explained to me, right? Because the left side and the right side. The left side is kind of like carrying buckets of income. The right side, you systematize your business so that the pipeline will produce income and a residual income stream. But what scared me was this. This is why I lost sleep. He said, Randy, when it comes to North America, 95% of people in North America are either an E or an S, employed or self-employed. In other words, we have to carry buckets. We have to be there to make money. The problem with that is we run out of money. Most of my buddies right here, they're an S business owner, says, Randy, I can afford to take my family on vacation. What I can't afford to do is leave my company for a week or two because it costs me too much money when I'm not there. This B business owner over here, this is what got me. He said, Randy, although 95% of people are over here, 95% of the money is made over here. I'm like, what? Nobody ever told me that in high school or college. I said, that's not fair. I said, okay, I'm over here. Everything I'm doing is over here. How do I get over here? He says, that's exactly what I'm talking to you about, how we're going to do that. And he went on to explain to me, he said, what most people do is they have what we call a fairly big want circle, okay? Whole bunch of things they want, and they have a smaller reality circle. In other words, their income is less than what they want it to be. And what we do, most of us do, here's what I had done, is we make up that gap with credit card debt after the huge pay cut I took. Or we shrink down what we want and pretend we don't want it anymore, or just live beneath our means. He said, what I'm going to show you how to do, Randy, Dan explained this to me. He said, I'm going to show you how to build financial freedom, true freedom, so you can live the lifestyle that you want. He said, but I can't help you get what you want if you can't tell me what you want. He said, so let me go back to that original question. What are you looking for in life you're not on track to get? Now, my wife, Rusti, is very transparent. Now, see, I'm trying to impress this millionaire guy, right? I'm trying to be on my best behavior. And Rusti goes, I'll tell you what we're looking for, Dan, right? We got close to 6 figures in credit card debt. I'm like, oh, don't say that. I mean, I'm trying to impress. I was going to save that little tidbit of information for the second date, okay? But it actually created a real transparent environment for us to be vulnerable, if you will, and explain to Dan what we're looking for. And this is important, right? Because you've already seen the value in the customer side of this. The question is, what's going to motivate you to put some effort forth to capitalize and monetize that customer side as a business owner member? So here's the list we came up with. And you'll relate to this, and some of this you won't. But for us, number 1 was we wanted to get out of debt, right? Number 2 was we wanted financial freedom, which didn't mean we needed to be wealthy. We just needed some more options. And I was tired of the checkbook. Always went out before the bills did. Number 3 for me was I wanted to give my wife the option to be a full-time mom. Now, Rusti had a great corporate career. She has a bunch of college degrees. She had graduated college, magna summa, cum laude, all that kind of stuff, right? And she was very good at what she did. I didn't know if she'd quit her job, but I wanted to be able to say, honey, if you don't want to work anymore, if you want to be a full-time mom, we can afford to do that. By the way, quick time out. As soon as we got this to the point where master income, she did exactly that. And it's been life-changing. She'll tell you about that in a few minutes. Next thing I wanted was to be able to, with that pay cut, keep our 4 boys in the private school they were in. And I knew one day I wanted to be able to put them through college. That would be expensive. I knew we wanted to actually pay off our mortgage and not just rent our house from the bank the rest of life, which is really what a mortgage is. We wanted to travel. Both Rush and I love to travel. But most of my buddies that own a company, I told you that a minute ago, can't afford to travel because they can't afford to leave their company. Wanted to give more money to my church, more time to my church. My airline retirement was gone, so I was concerned about retirement. My parents, Rusti's parents, are all in the late 80s now. Do you know in the Atlanta area where I'm coming to you from, the average, not the plush ones, the average nursing home right now is about $8,000 a month. I wasn't on track to be able to do that. God forbid we should need that at some point. More money to church and charity, I think I said. But the biggest thing I wanted on that list was free time. I'm pretty type A. I like to stay busy, but I wanted to be up to me what I did and what I didn't. And so we kind of had a big list there, and Dan said, Randy, let's take that list and kind of put it in a pile. Let me ask you 4 basic questions about that list. He said, there's different priorities there, but am I correct? That's a list of things that you're looking for. I said, yep. He said, good. Because if you're not looking for anything on the business side, we'd have much more to talk about. That's your motivation. He said, question number 2, if I showed you a way to get those results, would you be willing to put in the work to get them? I said, yeah, I'm not lazy. And I said, I don't know anything about your company. Is it like legal and ethical and moral? He said, yeah, absolutely. I said, then yeah, I'll put in the work. He said, question number 3 really has to do with time, and you probably don't have much. And he was right. I was out of town 4 nights every single week with the airline. And then I had a consulting business and dental practice management on the side, which left me no time. He said, if I showed you a way to get the results I had told him, by the way, this is just my number, that my goal was to make at least $300,000 a year. And I wanted that income to be residual. He said, if I showed you a way to get that, would you willing to prioritize the time? I said, well, I know there's 168 hours in a week, and I know they're all full right now. I said, how many hours are you talking about? And Dan said, well, there's no set number, but I think a good rule of thumb might be 15 to 20. I said, out of 168, if you show me how to get those results, I don't believe you can, but if you show me a way to get those results, I'll find 15 to 20 hours a week. All right. Last question. He said, right now where you're sitting, do you know of another way to get all those results in the next 2 or 3 years, including the free time? It's like, well, I could probably fly a bigger plane or fly more flights, and that would make me more money, but I'd be gone more. So no, I don't know of another way to achieve those results and have free time to go with it. He said, okay, so in summary, you have some things that you want, that you're willing to work for, you're willing to prioritize the time to get, that you don't have another way to get. And because of that, he went on to share with me what I'm about to share with you right here. So I'm about to get into the details of the business side of this, the member side of this, but the most important thing for you is real simply, what are you looking for in life you're not on track to get? If you can figure that out, if you can figure out what you want to put in this circle and your want circle, the rest of this will fall into place because so much of it comes down to motivation. Every one of you are busy right now. You don't need well, right now some of us have a little bit more free time, but normally we're all busy. The question is, what are you looking for in life you're not on track to get? So let me jump into the business side of things right now. Charles Schwab, very wealthy investor, talked about success all comes down to customer demand. Build something you want to use yourself and recommend to your mother. We believe with this super app, we've done exactly that. Now, one of the common questions I get right here is, where's this money coming from? In a second, I'll be throwing out some pretty big money figures. Well, very simply this. In 2018, online digital marketing in North America was a $107.5 billion business. Now, you and I have been on websites before and been on social media, and some ad pops up in the corner, is over in the browser side of the corner, and you and I rarely click on it. They spent $107.5 billion, companies did, to advertise to an ad that you and I don't even click on. And companies know that their form of marketing and advertising is very inefficient. They're looking for a better way to advertise. So what they've done with us is they said very simply, listen, let's say our product cost is 25%. I'm just going to make that number up. What if we save 5% off the front, but I pay you 20%, but I only pay you that 20% when somebody actually makes a purchase. They save billions, and they're willing to pay us a significant chunk for putting people on the website that makes a purchase. And that's the part I'm going to explain to you right here. Well, how is it we do that? There's something called point value. That's what this PV is in the top left column here, right? Every time somebody shops, or every time somebody you refer shops here, it generates points, varying points. I'll cover that in a second. But the more points that flow through your community, the more money you make. And the goal is to get to the top of this chart. I'll cover that in just a second. So what happens is there's 3 general categories we shop from. The first one is merchants. I covered that, right? $30 a month subscription. The average person saves between $100 and $150 a month, okay, just by shopping there. If you look at the numbers I showed you a minute ago, this has been around for 4 or 5 months. My wife and I are averaging about $250 a month. I'm quoting you $100, $150. You shop more, you save more, right? And of course, you still, if you use the coupon aggregator, another $100 a month saved there. Of course, you get the travel benefits as well and discounts there, etc. So there's all kinds of good deals in there. But over here on this main product category, this is what we started with as a company 8 years ago, and I'll tell you about that background in a minute. Personal growth company, of which the top products have been put into this app, right? Pays very well as well. But right here is the gold mine. Here's what happened. When we started this, which was last April, several big brand name companies, huge retailers online and stores came to us and said, you know what? We want in on what you're doing. What you have is tremendous value. And about that time, we figured out why they were doing that. because an existing energy drink company came to us and said, listen, we've got an energy drink right now that's marketed all over North America. It's in every store you go to, every gas station you go to. In other words, we've already done product development. We've paid the cost of producing it and licensing it, registering and all that kind of stuff. It's all canned. What we want to do is white label it for you. It's called a Satoshi energy drink. We'll put a label on it for you, okay? You sell it, and we'll give you, put it in your app here where people can buy it. We'll give you 50% of the profits on the business side. Now that was important because this side right here for you and I generates about 1% PV. That's not bad. It realized there's a genealogy built into here. I'll cover this in a second, like a DNA. Where this app goes, if you give it to Fred and Fred gives it to Ethel, Ethel gives it to Kathy, and 10,000 people deep, somebody in Australia shopping while you sleep, you get paid, or shopping in France, you get paid while you sleep. So this adds up a lot. But the payments here are in the neighborhood of 50, 60, 70%, much more lucrative. And by the way, we have more products in there than that. I'll talk to you about a health and wellness company. The fastest growing company in Europe came to us and said, you know what? We found this article. Our CEO found this article. He said, if you want to fight viruses right now, you need to strengthen your own immune system. I'd recommend more omega-3s and more antioxidants. We have, again, Zinzino is the top growing health and wellness company in Europe. We have all their products on board. The omega-3s here are phenomenal. Quick story here. That there's a test you can take that tells you how you're doing, and I've been taking omega-3s for 20 years, so I thought I would do good, right? Dan Hawkins, you'll meet in a second, okay? Tested here. The goal is to be 3-to-1. Dan Hawkins, I think he said, came in about 50-to-1. He was the only time in my life I've ever beaten Dan Hawkins in anything, but I thought I'd nail it, 3-to-1. I came in at 20.7-to-1, and I've been taking omega-3s. This product is fantastic for people, great for the immune system. Next thing is Mighty Muscadine. I'll put a scale up here. I've been taking antioxidants for years to help fight free radicals. It's good for anti-aging, good for health. And if you look at the scale down here, acai and blueberry, the common ones, they're down these numbers. This Mighty Muscadine thing, which is less than, right now it's on sale for $27 a month a person. It's a steal. $8.95. My mom and dad are on this. My sister-in-law's on this, etc. Great, great product that pays for itself. So there's some fantastic health and wellness products in there, as well as, just real quickly, there's coffee and tea, there's skin serum, there's vitamins, there's snacks, there's, I drink every day, I drink a protein shake of some kind. So here's the question. Sometimes people say, well, Randy, it's only been around since November, this middle piece right here, okay? Tell me about that part. Well, real simple, right? What we found was when we had this product right here, okay, this is what we did for the last 7 years. It was great, but it wasn't sexy. It was never going to go viral. It's kind of like, if you see my hands, kind of like this funnel about this big. Because we had to tell people every day, listen, you should eat Brussels sprouts and broccoli every day because it's good for you. And people would say, well, you're right, it is, but I don't like it and I don't want to. And I really don't want you to tell me that. Great products. We did hundreds of millions of dollars right here. But what happened is the funnel, when these came on, got about this big instead, because now it's sexy, now it's cool, now it's going viral, and you're getting paid for it as well, because there are hundreds of companies right now lined up in this centerpiece to get involved with this. So you have to, this takes a little bit of vision. By vision, I mean, I don't mean what you can see right now. I mean, where are things going to be in the future? Where's this section marketplace going to be 6 months from now, a year from now? Sometimes people say, well, what's going to be in here? I said, well, just imagine this. What can you buy right now on Amazon.com? Well, gosh, almost everything. No, that's what's theoretically can be in there. Now, we're not going to have everything that Amazon does, but if it's a quality product that's profitable and people demand for it, we're going to put it in there. And this is what my wife and I are losing sleep over right now. This center section right here, you got to get this. For the customer, great value in products, more trip credits. For you and I, great value in products, more trip credits, and PV. This is why we're losing sleep right now. This is why my wife and I are waking up every morning like little Chris and Christmas morning. You know how excited they are on Christmas morning? I remember in elementary school, it snows that day in school. Kids like, this is a great day. This center section, again, it takes some vision, but this is going gangbusters. This is going to be huge if you have the vision to see a little bit down the road. So here's really what we've done. We've created the matchmaker concept. We've copied what Airbnb has done. If you know, they're the largest move of hotel rooms in the world right now. They don't own hotels. What they have is some people that want to rent out beds, some people that want to buy beds, right? And they're just have an app in the middle and they make money. They're worth billions. Or Uber is another good example, right? What they have is people that want to rent out car seats, people that want rides, and Uber has an app and they're worth millions. We've done the same thing. We have companies that want to get products to the marketplace, people that want to buy those products. Now, who buys our products? Well, very simply, two kinds of people, members and customers, right? Customers, why do customers buy it? Because they want a great deal and they want more trip credits, so it makes the app sticky. Why do members like you and I buy it? Well, it's just common sense if you're a business owner. If you had a bakery, if you owned a bakery, right, and your bakery made bread, where would you buy the bread that you and your kids eat for dinner? Your store or the grocery store down the street? You know what everybody says? Well, I'd buy from my own store. Exactly. Business owners always use their own product for their own personal consumption. So that's what we do. Our community is made up of a combination of customers and members, business owners, who use this app. And let me explain to you exactly how that works. So there's a couple different ways to use this. You can certainly sell the platform, okay, and do that. And if you have about 600 people on that platform, you can make a six-figure income. Do that, adds up. That's not the way I recommend, though. What I recommend basically is this next piece right here called Build a Sales Team. What we do is we build communities. Now you say, well, Randy, what's a community? You're in one right now because most likely you're on social media. You're on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, Instagram or Snapchat. When you got on there, you friended some people and you built a community for somebody. And they leveraged that community by flowing marketing rights and advertising through that community. They became billionaires. But you and I didn't make any money. We have a community now that we build of customers and members, and they shop from that app because it's advantageous for them to do so. And as they do so, it creates volume that generates money. So here's how that whole process works. I'm going to quickly cover a summary of our income. There's actually 5.5 ways of making money plus profit sharing. This is the big summary. Somebody can get you more details here. And it all comes back to when people shop, depending on how they shop, where they shop, there are points that add up. The more points that flow through your community, the more money it makes. Here's the way this works, right? There's an existing team of people that brought you on, the person that invited you on this call. And just so you know, okay, they don't get rich by getting you started. We don't have a headhunter. I'll just show you in a minute. If you're a customer, $30 a month. If you want to join in the business, I'll give you the details in just a minute, but it's about 145 bucks. They don't make money by getting you rich. They make money by helping you succeed here. We have no headhunter fee, no recruiting fee. So therefore, they have no conflict of interest. You're about to be in business as a member for yourself, but not by yourself, but you have a team of people in there right there working with you. Then we start building a community doing something called team approach. Now, if you kind of draw a line here right across you, you got in line here. What does line mean? Well, picture you being at the grocery store. You buy a set of groceries, you have a little buggy, you go to checkout, and there's some people waiting for the cash register 6 feet apart right now, right? Some people waiting in front of you. You're going to get in line behind them. And Dan asked me, he said, Randy, now the people that come after you while you're waiting in line, what are they going to do? I said, well, I'm pretty sure Dan learned in kindergarten to have them get in line behind me. He goes, exactly. They can only get in line behind you if you've gotten in line yourself, if you've done what we call hold my spot in that line, which is exactly the same as being a member. It's that same 145 I'll cover in a minute. We start building a community. Anybody who gets in line behind you, you benefit from them, not from them getting started, but from them shopping. When they shop, it generates points. You start going up that chart. So we start building a community together as a team, kind of like sports are. If you've ever been part of a sports team or a big choir production or any type of production like that, you work together as a team to build a community like that, and you get credit for each. You may never meet some of these people. You may never know them, but they're part of your community once they get involved. They shop themselves. They have customers that shop. That drives you up that bonus chart. So that looks like a pretty good deal, Dan. When I see that, I said, it kind of looks to me like I didn't do much here, and you put some people on my team. He says, well, Randy, yeah, here's the deal. What determines whether somebody gets a spot up here, if you can see my mouse, versus a spot down here? He said it's kind of chronological in nature. It's just simply based on when your applications, the time and date your applications put into the computer. He said, our goal is to help you build this team as quickly as possible. We want to put at least 10 people on here if we can in the first 30 days. He said, if you hold your spot, some of the people on this call tonight, some of the people that we're showing the plan as a team to tomorrow night and the next night, they're going to get started. And if they get started and you've held your spot, they can be some of your first 10. He said, but it doesn't matter to us because we don't make money by getting you started. If you'd rather, you can start down here and you can be some of their first 10. He said, guess which is a better idea? Well, I don't fully understand that, but it kind of makes sense. I'd rather have them be on my team than me be on their team. He goes, exactly. That's why you need to hold your spot. He said, well, the problem with that, Dan, for me is twofold. Number one, back then it was a lot more money, but just use today's dollars. I don't have 145 bucks. He said, well, Randy, you already told me how much credit card debt you have. You've already proved to me you spend money you don't have. Luckily for you, we take Visa, Discover, MasterCard, and American Express. He said, but when you have that much credit card debt, he used an analogy. I apologize, it's a little bit crass, but what he said is, and I love the analogy now, he said, if you're up to your neck in poo-poo, does it really matter if you wet your pants, right? For me, at the end of the night, I was either going to be 100 grand and $145 in credit card debt, or I was going to be just 100 grand in debt. You know, the 145 didn't make much difference, right? So we put on a credit card debt. I said, just to jump ahead and I'll tell you that. I said, but the other thing is, I don't fully get this. And Dan said, well, Randy, you're probably overcomplicating. It's very simple. There's people you know right now that are shopping at the stores that are on this app. They're already buying these products anyway. Doesn't it make sense that they should pay less for them by just having a different payment platform and make money in the process? Average $100, $150 a month? Sure. He goes, so here's the deal. Don't overcomplicate this. He goes, you should hold your spot. We have some people in the next couple of days that are get involved. He goes, you can handle the money part. And Rusti jumped in with the money. She said, Randy, there's a place in Atlanta here called Buckhead, a lot of bars and stuff, right? Back when we were single, we used to party there on a Friday night. She said, many a Friday night, we'd spend more than $145 that we didn't have. And on Saturday, we couldn't remember where it had gone. In other words, we've wasted that kind of money before. She said, you know what? At the time, gas prices were high. I said, it cost me more than $150 to fill up my Yukon XL, my Suburban. We don't pray about that for a month first. He said, this is a life-changing result. It's not a life-changing decision. Why don't we get a holder spot, see what happens? So we did that, right? Now, I did nothing. Dan Hawkins calls me up a couple of days later. He says, Randy, have you been in the virtual office? And I had not. Showed me how to get in there. He showed me some people on our team. I'm like, Dan, I haven't done anything yet. Where'd they come from? He goes, Randy, he said, Randy, you remember that thing you did called Hold My Spot? Because of team approach, we've been building this community. Because you got in line, we put some people on your team. And he said, Randy, you were kind of skeptical about whether or not this would work. But you know what? Think about it. Unless those people we put on your team are the last people on the planet that want to make more money, this thing works, doesn't it? I said, I guess it does. He said, actually, look at the success you're having. You're getting pretty good at this. I said, I guess I am, right? And I got excited about it. And what I did is I came there and I started apprenticing. I had a mentor that would work with me. And Dan taught me how to go to the bottom of this team and start building a team. And the numbers are that bonus chart I showed you a second ago, just ballpark numbers, right? Check that income statement. When you build one team to the top of the chart, 1.25 team, you're going to make ballpark about $2,000 a month when you average it all together. You build 2.25 teams like that, you're going to make $5,000 to $6,000 a month. You build 3.25 teams, you're going to make $10,000 to $12,000 a month, and you can go up from there. Obviously, Dan Hawkins has 6 teams that are all big. He makes a whole lot more money than that. And that's the part I got excited about, because this thing all goes viral. And as it goes viral, the DNA in one app connects to another, it keeps track of the whole thing for you. You don't have to worry about any of that. Now, here's what I said to Dan, though, okay? This looks like one of those deals, though, Dan, Ben, where the guy at the top makes all the money. And he goes, oh, you mean like the airline you work for? I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, the airline you work for has a CEO at the top, and she makes the most money, right? Underneath him, a couple of vice presidents, less money. Upper management, more people, less money. Middle management, more people, less money. Supervisor, more people, right? Somewhere down here is a blue collar worker, the most people, least money. He goes, and what's the chance that supervisor can ever make more money than the executive vice president? So he's not gonna. Exactly. So you can't make more money than the person above you. He goes, this isn't that way at all. The way this process works right here is if you get someone on your team down here can build, let's say 3 teams, they're making a whole lot more money than this guy right here who's built 2 teams. And it might be a whole lot more successful than you who've built 1 team. That's what keeps our marketing plan legal with the Federal Trade Commission, the IRS, the Attorney General. It also keeps it fair. If you do nothing, you make exactly what we should make. But if you put in the effort, which is nothing, by the way, if you put in the effort, you control directly how much you make. And that's the part that got me excited about this entire process. And then, by the way, you'll hear about the second part. We have a franchise-like system that teaches you every bit of this across the board, so you don't have to learn it all. So again, you can be a customer or member. Here's how that whole process works. If you just want to be a customer, $30, of which the average person saves $100, $150 a month. If you use the coupon aggregator, another ballpark $100 a month, you get 30,000 trip credits for that. It's a 30-day experience. So $30 for 30 trip credits for 30 days. I'd recommend you try it for 30 days. If you don't like it, it's one button click to get off. But just so you know, we have a 95%, we've had 350,000 downloads, a 95% retention rate just using this app. You will like it. Here's the secret to that 95% retention rate. It's higher than that if you'll do one thing. Recommend use this 3 times in the next week. By the way, every website, every app out there has a form of payment called that's on this app has a place where you can form a payment with a gift card. And that's exactly the column you put this in. So you can order pizza or restaurant food or anything else delivered to your house and use this right now in that process. $30. When you do that, you also have a choice to subscribe to something that makes you a top customer called the Life Accelerator. It's part of the requirement for being a member. But what this is like a boot camp of educational information. It teaches you success principles both inside and outside this business. And the main piece here is a member. I'll cover that in a second. And that member is $30 subscription. That's your app for the first 30 days. That $9 Life Accelerator. If you do these both together, by the way, you get 90 trip credits additional. So you get 120 trip credits. Now do the math here. $120, 120 trip credits. Pretty good, right? Simple decision. And then there is a 3-day wait in here before you can do that last $25 for that $145 total. Now tell me about this 3-day wait. We want you to use the app for 3 days to make sure you want to become a member. Why is that? Well, 2 reasons. One is the person that invited you on this call actually makes more money. It's better for them if you just want to be a customer. So if you're not for sure that you want to share this app and build a community of people using this app as a customer or member, we'd prefer you stay on the customer side. Okay. And we are very proud of our averages. The people that go on the member side that work this business make very good money, as I covered a minute ago. We don't want someone who's not doing anything have to be averaged into that income process. If you're not going to work it like a business, now at some point in the future, at least, it's smart to hold your spot. Don't get me wrong there. If you're not ready to do that right now, okay, then just stay a customer until you're ready to be a member. And that's what that process is. So what I want you to do, let me cover this. When I sat with you right now, I had three basic questions, and I have one that I get right now. Sometimes people say to me, Randy, what's the difference between this and like what used to be called eBay? Now it's called Rakuten. So, well, there's only about 10% overlap. They have stores like we do, okay? And that's where the similarity stops, okay? But they don't pay you instant cash. They mail you a check 45 days from now. And they don't give you an extra 4% for using cash or credit card. And they don't give you trip credits and discounts across all that travel. And they don't give you a coupon aggregator where you can save in excess of $100 a month. And they don't give you all that education. No, there's very little overlap. But the bottom line is this. If you share the app for Rakuten Ebates, you don't make money from that. It's not a cash cow. You can't get business ownership there. So if you're looking to make money, there's no comparison between the two. Which leads me to my three questions, and I think they're great because I had them, right? Number one, so Dan, I'm kind of skeptical. How do I know this works? Dan said, Randy, I'll update these numbers. We said this company's been around since 2011 for 8 years. In 8 years, we've done in excess of $700 million in business, okay? And we're a completely debt-free company, owe nobody any money at all. And of that $700 million, almost 400 million of it has been paid back in bonuses to people like you and I. Never been a day late paying your bonus. Whatever you do in 1 month on that PV chart, by the 14th of the next month, you get a check deposited into the account of your choosing. It's never been a day late doing that. So he said, Randy, you can't argue the fact that it works. The company is going gangbusters. By the way, even in this coronavirus situation right now, as a company, we're growing like crazy. We might have some time later to give it. Well, we grew 30% in January, 30% in February. Halfway through March, we're already up 25%. And even with the crash, we still ended up very successful in March. We're growing like crazy right now. You want a home-based business right now where you can, you'll hear about this in the second part of the meeting, make hundreds of dollars a month in your first month, not even counting your shopping. On the business side, you're absolutely in the right place. So the next question I had was, I don't know if I can do this, and here's why. When I first looked at your business plan, Dan, it looked to me like you were a product company because you only make money when people buy products. That's where the PV comes from. But the more I look at it, I said, you're not really in a product business. It looks to me like you're in a people business. It looks to me like you're building teams or communities of people who build communities of members and business owners who do the same thing. And they have people shop from that app. And I said, it looks to me like you're really in a people business. And the reason that this won't work for me, Dan, is real simple. I said, I don't like people. He said, Randy, you can change. I said, no, Dan, you can't. You're either a people person or you're not. Now, the odds of a broke guy telling a millionaire anything successful, I should have shut up right there. He said, but Randy, we have a franchise-like system called the Life Training Marketing System. It's audios, it's books, it's seminars, it's videos. He said, it'll teach you how to work with people. It's a skill. He said, I'll even mentor you through that process. He said, I paid you the several $100,000 a year that you told me you wanted, would you be willing to learn how to work with people? I thought for a second. I said, I love people, right? It's kind of a choice, isn't it? He said, but think about it, Randy. What did I do with you that you couldn't learn to do? He said, if I helped you, could you learn to say to somebody will give you a script where we'll play this with you, but something along the lines of, I've partnered with a technology company out of Raleigh, North Carolina, that are bringing a super app to market that's going viral. They're throwing us a ridiculous amount of money helping that process. I thought about you. Do you have a 4-minute video? Do you have time, about 4 minutes right now to watch a video? And if they do, coordinate to watch them, hit them that, right? And when they finish watching that video, say something simple like, hey, wasn't that awesome? What was your favorite part? And if they tell you something positive, if they tell you something negative, I change the subject. I talk about the Atlanta Braves or the Georgia Bulldogs or something like that. Tell me something positive, which most people do. Say, sounds like you need some more information. And I schedule time to do a meeting like this. So the problem with me for that, Dan, is I don't know how to do those meeting things. He goes, well, usually we start with a big group meeting in somebody's house, but we can do that online right now. He said, but what if I would do your first meetings for you? I said, you do meetings for me? He goes, yeah. I said, how many would you do for me? He goes, I'll do as many as it takes for you to feel comfortable doing them. And he did, and I did. And by the way, somebody in this call will do the same thing for you. So it works, and you can do it because we'll help you, and we have a system that will train you. My last question was this. I said, I don't know if I want to do this. I said, Randy, that's not relevant. When do you want to get started? Like, hello, McFly, what did I miss here? He said, Randy, you do things all the time you don't want to do for the results. So when the alarm goes off at 4 in the morning, you have to get out of bed. You don't want to do that. You do it because you want the paycheck. He goes, how about this? Do you own an electric drill? I said, I do. So think about it. The day you bought that drill, did you buy the drill because you wanted the drill? I'm like, yes. He goes, no, you didn't. You bought it because you wanted a hole in something. And the drill was simply the vehicle you wanted to get the results that you want. You don't do this because you want to do it either, although you'll love it. You'll love helping people succeed, love helping people get out of debt, love helping people change their lives, because you do it, though, because of what's in it for you. That's human nature. You do it because of those 4 questions we talked about earlier. I have some things that I want, that I'm willing to work for, willing to prioritize the time to get. I don't have another way to get. Do this because you want those results across the board. Now, the best thing I recommend that you do, very simply, is I recommend you engage. The person inviting you to this call today can send you several audios and something called a first night pack. They're MP3s. I highly recommend you listen to those as soon as possible. And I'm going to recommend that you attend the next event also. You'll hear in a minute from my wife about a seminar that's coming up. Normally, they're done live all over the country, but we're going to have one online on Zoom here on April 18th. The best teaching I can possibly give you would be to plug you to that seminar. It is life-changing. So what I want to encourage you to do, well, if you just want to be a customer, as soon as you get done with this, have the person that's invited you on this call send you a quick link. All right. You can't just go to the Google Play Store or the App Store and get a link. You need to get it from them. And it's still in beta, the registration process. So I don't recommend that you just send it to somebody, but they'll stay on the phone with you, talk you through the process, about a 5-minute process. And whether you want to be a customer or a member, they can walk you through that process and you can start moving forward with this. Either way, you'll love the app as a customer. As a member, your customers will love the app and so will you, and you'll start changing lives. Your financial future is in your hands right now. Couldn't be a better time. We're exploding like crazy, and I definitely invite you to come join us. With that, I want to take it with hand it over to my wife. She did not see this with me at first. That was a mistake on my part. She did not come on board with me right away. Matter of fact, she was not very excited about it when I first told her about it because she didn't understand the value of it. Now she's my biggest cheerleader. She's my biggest partner. I love working with my best friend. I'm going to share with you just briefly. And then whatever you do, don't go away after the 2-minute break she introduces. Dan the Man Hawkins, okay, my mentor, the guy I keep talking about through this whole meeting, the guy who changed my life, the guy who's one of my best friends ever, a successful guy, is going to come on and do some specific teaching and training for you so you learn how to exactly make this work. So here's my girlfriend and my wife, Rusti Spence. Take it away.
Wow, what a great plan. I tell you what, I just think that Randy did an amazing job explaining the platform and what we have our hands on here with the Life app. I tell you, when he did bring this home to me, I really was truly skeptical because it looks so different than anything that I had ever experienced in traditional business. And I knew what a pickle we were in, and I just did not know if this necessarily was going to be able to get us out of the situation we were in. And I know that a lot of people are probably either financially stressed right now, or maybe they even have, some physical things that are going on. And one of the things that I loved about what we have our hands on with Life here is that this platform, I believe, truly has something for everyone. And I know that for us, it did change our lives. I mean, because it got us out of our debt, and through the work that Randy did put in, it got me out of our job, and it was able to maintain keeping our kids in school, and it did so many different things. And it's just, I know that it has the ability to change people's lives if you will put the work in. And I know that just like today, we have now had, our governor has done this shelter in place thing for a lot of people. And when I go out, I automatically, if I've got to do something, I look at my app first when I'm shopping. And I needed to go get some dog food for my dog. And so I looked at my app first, and I actually went in there and I saved like $24 and change on dog food. That's like one bag of dog food. It was 35% off, and I get it shipped to my house. So it was convenient. I didn't have to go in the store. So it's convenient for now and for later if I did want to go into the store and pick it up. But why? It's a big bag of dog food. So it's great for now and for later. So I just know that there's something, I believe, for if people just want to save money, that's great. But if people want to use this and actually create an income stream, there's something for them there, there too. And I just think that it can be something wherever you want it to meet you. And that to me is so very, very exciting. I know that Randy has already talked about the fact that we have a seminar coming up on the 18th of April. And something that is unique about this one is not only the fact that we're doing it online, but usually that is a $40 per person ticket, because we're doing it live at venues where people are coming in there. We're actually doing it together, which is special because we do miss the personal touch of everybody seeing everybody. But what is great about this is that it's going to be $25 per household. So that's a great value. So you're going to have $25 per household, and it's going to be like a highlight reel, because you're going to have faster segments of people who are doing and building things in the now, people who are doing things so super fast. They're going to be having like 15-minute segments of them telling you what's happening fast now, because this business is changing and things are building so fast and people are doing things and we are so cutting edge that we don't have to continue to do things the way we used to so long ago just because it's tradition and that's the way we used to do it. If something is working better now, they change. And I can tell you what, if something works better, this company continues to change, progress. And that to me is exciting because they're always cutting edge and it's always going to get better. So that's exciting. And I just want to encourage you guys to stick around because Dan, who is one of the founders of the company, is going to be on here in 2 minutes. And I tell you, Dan and Lisa took the project of Randy and Rusti Spence on a couple of years ago, and we will be forever grateful because they changed our financial future. And I know that they have changed thousands of families' future, and they have they've spoken all over the world. They've been asked to speak in so many different places, and they have just changed so many people's lives. And he is an incredible communicator of this business, and he just has the gift of gab, I like to say. But he has amazing facts and he's got a heart of gold, and he will be able to transfer the information and the feeling of what we have in a way that I pray that you will be able to pick it up and run with it for your family. So come back in 2 minutes to listen to Mr. Dan Hawkins.
Two minutes.
Wow, wow, wow. Man, thank you. Thank you, Randy and Rusti. Every time I see this, it's like, wow, there's just so much value in this in so many different levels for so many different people. But now, I mean, it's really your lucky night to be able to hear Randy and Rusti, but to also, you heard Randy and Rusti both talk about this next speaker and what he's meant in their lives. And that description can be multiplied exponentially to people all over the world, including myself. This gentleman has reached many levels of success. He started out as a certified mechanic. His wife was a daycare provider. And through this business model, he was able to bring her home to raise they have 5 daughters to raise their children. And he's been free. They've both been free for a number of years. New York Times best-selling author and co-owner of the business. You're never going to get a better source of information for what we're doing than this gentleman right now. And so without further ado, I want to introduce to you my friend and also my mentor, Mr. Dan Hawkins.
Awesome, Rick. Well, I appreciate the kind words. I'm excited to see everybody on the call, or at least have you see me on the call. I can't see everybody on there, but man, I got a sneaking suspicion that people were on the edge of their seats, getting pretty fired up as Randy was going through some of that information. How do I know that? Because I was getting text messages like crazy coming in my phone from people that are tying in tonight, wanting to see, what I love about Zoom. Here we are. Randy covered it. We're in these crazy times where, man, I think Georgia just got issued a stay-at-home order. I know Utah just got issued a stay-at-home order. We've been under it in Wisconsin for a while till the end of April. It's just crazy what's going on. And yet here we are being able to communicate one of the greatest opportunities of someone's lifetime about this app across the internet, across the Zoom platform. Here, Randy's sitting in Atlanta, able to share with people throughout the world. I'm sitting here in Wisconsin. And I'm thinking, man, how blessed are we to have such an opportunity to do that? And Randy did such a phenomenal job. And I think, my favorite part, I want to teach a little bit how to do this tonight, because I know that there's a lot of people that are in crazy circumstances right now. And it's probably, it's kind of interesting when you see the world change or the economy get tight or times get tough. It just starts to squeeze everybody a little bit. And they always say whenever you squeeze something, you realize what's in it because it comes out, right? And so right now, there's a lot of people that maybe thought they had a decent financial situation, and all of a sudden it's squeezing them. They might not have ever even thought about their health, or at least not as much as they should. Now suddenly they're concerned about their health. And that article Randy showed about getting the proper nutrition is so valuable to your health. It's unbelievable. And yet it's almost impossible to get those things, even if you spend the money to eat organic and eat all the great things from your local grocery store. I live in Wisconsin. I don't get fresh fish oil in my body in Wisconsin. One, because I don't eat fish, right? But two, I live in Wisconsin, so even if I wanted to, that's processed food by the time it gets here. And so antioxidants, I don't live in a place where I can eat fresh exotic fruits all the time to get the proper nutrition, right? So all these pieces are coming together, and here we sit across this, and I'm going to start by sharing a slider. I don't know if Joe Beavers is on the call right now, but he posted something earlier online and shared it, and I saw it on there. I thought it was kind of interesting for times like this, because I'm going to talk straight at you for this part, because everybody should use the app. It's almost financially irresponsible to hear about this app and not use it, right? We're literally telling you, look, you give us $30 and you'll get 100 plus back in value every single month. Like, to me, it doesn't take, you don't have to take your shoes off. You just count your fingers. It's pretty easy to see. If I'm going to give somebody 30 and turn around and give them 100 back, it flat out is irresponsible not to take advantage of it, right? Unless you live in the woods, don't have a smartphone, never use technology. Okay, maybe there's 1% of the population this won't be good for. But most people should use, it's just financially responsible to use the app. But what we're talking about in this second half, for those of you that stayed on the call, which I believe is almost, I don't think anybody got off. And so what that tells me is Randy convinced you that there's a huge opportunity at hand here. Not only are you going to use it, but you're going to want to tell others about this so they could use it. And this is going to be kind of hard. I'm going to pre-warn you. This is a little bit of a slap, but it slapped me and it made sense. And I think it's totally true. Look at this statement. I think you guys can see it. Hopefully you guys can see this right now. If you don't come out of this quarantine with a new skill, your side hustle started, and more knowledge, it was never that you lack the time. It's that you lack the discipline. And I thought, man, I read that. I thought, man, I know it's kind of harsh. Oh, no, I lost my screen. How do I get it back here? I know it might seem kind of harsh to say that, but you look at what's going on and you're like, man, it's so true that people have the time to do stuff. And this is kind of crazy. There it goes. Couldn't shut it off. A lot of times people will say, I'm busy, I don't have the time. Well, right now, most people have the time. It's not a time concern that's going to stop you. You've probably been freed up some time. And it's crazy because right now, from a real meaningful thing, like I hope my brother doesn't mind me saying this, but right now he owns the house and he lives by himself. And we were talking today. He said, man, he goes, it's kind of crazy. If we get all quarantined in our homes and have to actually stay home, I'll be home alone. And I thought, how many people right now are having to stay home or maybe whatever, and man, their financial situation's a little bit scary. Their health's a little bit scary. They're concerned with what's going on in the world. And Man, there couldn't be a better time to connect people with a positive message, a message that could take them somewhere, a message that gives them hope that when all this is said and done, you can come out ahead of the game. You can actually come out of this crazy time period accelerating your life with your health in the best shape. But my daughter said to me today, she goes, Dad, we set up a makeshift gym in our basement of our house because we used to go to a local gym, and they've been working out every day, sometimes twice a day. And she's like, Dad, I hope everybody else is taking this time to get in better shape and they're reading books every day. I thought, you know what, some people aren't, but why not do that, right? So let me jump into some of the thoughts about what we're putting together here. You look at this thing. I was taught a long time ago, I really appreciate the kind words Randy said to me, but Orrin Woodward taught me a long time ago. He said, Dan, success is really just three things. And there's different ways to say this. I've heard it said, what do you want? What's the price? Pay it. Right? That's kind of one way to say it. You know, I love what Randy said. It's like, once you realize what you want, if you come to the grips that what you're doing is never going to get you there, well, then you got to figure out what's going to actually take you there. And Orrin says it this way, success is three things. He said, first, you just have to define what it is that you want. What do you truly want? How do you truly want to live? And when I first saw this, Lisa was working full-time. I was working full-time. We were doing 60, sometimes 80 hours a week. And we're like, man, we just wanted more control of our time. We wanted money in the bank. We wanted a way to spend more time with our kids. And if you can define that, you now at least have a target, right? Well, then what's the second key? You got to learn. But who are you going to learn from? When I saw this, I wanted freedom. I wanted to live free. I wanted to have plenty. Nobody I knew in my life was free when I saw this. And so you have to learn from someone who actually has accomplished what you want in life. And I'll be honest with you, and you guys probably know this, that it's not common to be able to find somebody. You don't just, most of us don't have that uncle that could teach us or that friend that could teach us. We don't have a way to learn those things. And so learn from someone who actually has the life you want. And then the last step is do what they've done. Duplicate the process that led to their results, that got you the success, that got them the success, if you could duplicate that. And I remember one of my first mentors just telling me this clearly. Just like Randy, I love what Randy did when he walked through, because you got to sit down with it and realize, what is it that you truly want? Is there someone willing to actually help you get it? Now, we're not going to tell you, hey, you want success? Go to school for 4 years, learn how to be a doctor. No. You can work hand in hand with people like a Randy and Rusti Spence. And they're going to help you every step of the way learn how to duplicate what they've done. You see, we have a goal to reach millions of people with this platform. And there's billions of people with smartphones right now in the world. Billions. And our goal is to reach at least millions of them with this platform. And it's crazy. Somebody asked me, he goes, so what actually do you guys get paid to do? Well, we get paid to introduce this platform to people. I'm not trying to sell them on any individual product. Now, I strongly believe I drink the Satoshis Randy talked about. I consume the Mighty Muscadine and the Zinzino because I want to be healthy. I shop at many of those stores that were on there. Lisa shops at many more of those stores, right? Those are all things I do anyway. But what Lisa and I really we wanted to get to a better place. And so the question I love what Randy said. The question is then, are you willing to do what it takes? And so that's what tonight's about. So hopefully, as Randy was talking, as I'm talking here, you've built up, okay, I'll believe you, Dan. Let's say this actually could produce an income that rolls in. And remember, Randy talked about a B-type income. That's totally different. We're not here to offer you a job. We're here to offer you a way to generate an income that you do the work once, but you get paid over and over and over again for the same work. Let me give you an example. I know Steve Lurkwin's on this call. Lisa and I introduced this idea to Steve and Jamie almost 16 years ago. And so everything that Steve and Jamie have purchased through this platform over 16 years, Lisa and I have gotten paid from those manufacturers or those companies that Steve and Jamie shopped at. Now, so did Steve and Jamie. They have a fair opportunity too, but because we introduced it to them, I think 16, how many of you are still getting paid for work you did 16 years ago? And I thought, but it's even more than that, because then we helped Steve and Jamie build a team of people that are using this app. They all have customers. Yeah, you start to see how big this can get over time. And so what happens now, though, is over time, we've been able to develop a systematic platform. So like Randy said, you bring in those three things. What do you want? That's where it starts. Like somebody asked me, what are the key components? And the first one is the dream. And Randy hit that so well tonight. I don't have to spend a ton of time. However, it's the most important thing, because that's the motivation that drives you. It's like, why am I here? It's 9 o'clock at night. My family's been home. We've been having a blast today. We went on a hike on some trails today. We have our freedom. Like we've already earned it. We have a beautiful home. I have nice cars. The other day I was laughing because, I always have to purchase these cars that have 500 horsepower or more. And somebody asked me why. And I said, well, because I have 5 daughters and a wife. So I'm surrounded by estrogen all day long. And sometimes I just have to go do something manly, right? So I went and jumped in my Jaguar the other day and raced around the streets because it was fun. And I already have these things. Why am I doing this? Because I have a dream to reach more people for this. We have a dream as a company to reach 1 million people, to offer other people what we've been given. Like, that's what motivates me now, to find people like a Randy and a Rusty Spence who say, man, we have things we want and we don't know how to get them. I have a way for them to get them. And I love helping people. And there's so many people on this call that want to be helped, but you got to come up with your dream. We can't give that to you, but that's one of the keys to success, is defining what you want. Then once you define it, you got to be willing to learn something different. I once heard a saying that said, if you can't do things, you can't do the same old things, the same old ways, if you want something different. Right? You can't take your same old self into a bright new future. You have to learn new things to learn to get new results. And so we've put together a training system. And I'm not going to get into all the details, but right through that smartphone that Randy was telling you about, there's a system built in here that will teach you all the step of the way. If you're newer on this call or you're brand new, as fast as possible, you should subscribe to the marketing system as fast as you can. Now, when you're brand new, we make you be a customer for 3 days. Why? Because we think the best business builders are the ones that are the most satisfied customers. We're like, let's make you a customer. Let's give you 3 days to use this app and fall in love with it. So now when you decide that you want to share this with others, you're the biggest fan of the product, right? Because you love the app. But once you become a member, we have a system that can teach you every step of the way. There's literally a little rocket ship that'll show up on your app, and you can push it. It's the getting started button, and it will literally walk you through step by step. Now, why is that important? One, it's important to you because you can learn what it takes for you to be a success. But 2, it's important because your success can get bigger than you could possibly imagine. How's that? Because everybody you introduce this app to can learn through the app as well. They won't concern. You don't have to teach somebody 8 hours a day to how to do this. They have a system just like you do that they can leverage and learn. And so, man, if you're on here, the faster you dig into that system, the faster you can get others digging into it, the faster it all starts to grow. So that's the second step. Then you go to do. What do I do? A lot of people ask that question. What do we do? And I'm going to have Randy come back on in just a few moments to walk through some of this, because he is one of the top performers in my organization. That's why I asked him to speak with you guys tonight. He knows how to do this and help others be successful. He's working directly with Rick, who was just on the call, or Rick's working directly with Randy, however you want to say it. Randy got Rick started. Is that right? And Randy was just telling me, man, Rick now has become a rock star, man. He is able to share this app and get people started like crazy. Why? Because he's learned from Randy how to do it. And so I can't wait to bring Randy back. So let me wrap up these 4 corners quick. Then Randy and I have a short conversation about what to do. So 2 things to do. Number 1, do is use the product yourself. That's why you have to be a customer first. We don't even let you we don't even want you trying to talk about it, trying to be a business owner until you use the product. Now, you can get through it pretty quickly. If you're ambitious, man, 10 minutes into you signing up, you can make purchases. You can start ordering products. It doesn't take long to start digging into the product, which is the platform, and then you can share with people. But we want to give you 3 days, give you plenty of time, and feel free to talk to people in the meantime, and you could introduce them to people like Randy. But you got to be a product of your product. The reason Randy can talk with so much posture about this product is because he uses them. He uses the Mighty Muscadine. He uses the Enzino. Man, I hear story after story after story of what those products are doing in people's lives. All right, so let's take about 10 minutes here and just get into the do part to build a business. So you got to define what you want. You got to be willing to learn some new things, and learning is an ongoing thing. Here's what's cool about our platform. You don't have to go to school for 4 years to learn it and then go do it. You literally do and learn together. They go together. So as you do, you learn. Right now, you're learning. The first time you saw this presentation from Randy, you didn't even know it, but you were being trained on how to show this to somebody else. Isn't that kind of neat? Even somebody that sent you the link tonight, maybe it was your first time on Zoom and you set up Zoom, you literally are learning part of the process to make an income with this. And you didn't even realize it because we've systematized the whole process that says, man, if you figured out how to get on this call and learn about this, do you think you could send a link to somebody else and they can learn how to get on the call and learn about this? You see how simple that is? And when we're done, you can get on a phone call with someone who invited you and they'll walk you through the other details of it. So it's all systematic. It's all put together. And so here's the do part. The do, if you said, Dan, I want to make money at this, I'm gonna kind of give you the high level of this, and Randy and I are going to talk through some of the specifics. Here's the high level. We've put together a program where when this launched, March 1st, actually, we launched a brand new compensation program where you can literally share this platform with someone. And if by the time they watched Randy tonight, let's say they watched Randy for 45 minutes and they're like, man, that makes sense. And you invited them on this call. You call them back and you walk them through getting started on the app. And we'll teach you how to do that. Someone's walked through. And so let's say you take an hour, somebody watches this for 45 minutes, and then you take 15 minutes to enroll them as a top customer like Randy talked about on the app because it makes sense to them. You would make a minimum of $25 bonus. It's a 25% of the volume. So when they get started as a top customer, do you guys understand that you could have just taken an hour of your time and made $25? That's like saying you made $25 an hour. Now that's the minimum. And we were starting to teach people that, and people realized, well, man, what if I were to go sit down with people and get them started? I just, Jamie Fisher, she's probably on the call tonight. She sent a Lifeline up today, a message to me and saying she got 3 customers started today. Well, Jamie's actually at the top of the chart. And because of all this craziness, we've launched something called a hunker down bonus. We said, we know that people might be struggling financially right now. We know that people might be looking for ways to bring in extra money, especially now, and not just build a long-term business, but build a short-term business. And so right now, excuse me, you can make anywhere from 25% up to 80%. So where Jamie Fisher is this month, she's got 3 top customers started. That would mean she got $80 per top customer. So let's say it took her an hour each one, which Jamie's really good. This probably wouldn't even take her that. That'd be like earning $80 an hour on a job, but only better because now every month that processes, Jamie gets paid again. She did the work once, gets paid again and again and again. She gets paid every time they shop. If they go eat at Panera Bread sometime this week, she gets paid from Panera Bread. If they order some Mighty Muscadine this week, she gets paid from Mighty Muscadine. It's crazy, the systematic way. So I'm getting excited about it. So Randy, why don't you jump back on here, bud, if you're still there. And I am going to try and I don't know if I can do this here. I'm going to try and do something where we're both on the screen, and maybe somebody later will have to tell me if this works. So Randy, I think I just changed it so we're both on the screen for everybody, but maybe not. Maybe it's just me and you. I don't know. So I'm not promising anything. I think I just did that. But I want to talk through a little bit on what does this actually look like you just showed somebody the idea. So Randy, maybe I'll back it up this much. So let's say, Randy, maybe you had somebody on the call tonight. So Randy, let's say you personally had somebody on the call tonight that just saw that presentation, and now you're going to call them back or get on a Zoom with them right after this. What does it look like from that point on? They know about it already. They saw it. They're excited. And now you're going to call them. How do you take them from seeing the plan to actually being enrolled as a top customer? Let's talk through that process a little bit.
Can you hear me, Dan? Am I coming through?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I call them back and ask them what their favorite part was. I like to hear about it. In there, sometimes they might say, I didn't understand this, I didn't understand that. Sometimes you got to address the question. And I tell people, listen, I saw this several times before I got it. I got started that first night. It made sense to me. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I didn't get the big picture of it. But I just walk them through that process. If they have any questions, and then depending on what they need, they might need another meeting that we book. But certainly I ask them to do, if they're ready to move forward, I encourage them to go ahead and hold their spot. And it's real simple to do that because I don't believe and by the way, which again is the same as becoming a member. That's that top customer thing, 3-day delay, total outlay is about $145 with 120 trip credits. I don't believe I would be here today if I hadn't done that, because that team approach with putting people on my team just convinced me enough. Oh, if they can do 2, they can do 20, they can do 200, they can do 2,000, kind of makes sense for me to get in line. And I remember when I was working on my MBA, if I could show someone a business plan that broke even in 3 to 5 years, that was a great business plan. Our return on investment, our ROI here, less than 30 days. And that's not even talking about, like you just talked about, showing 4 plans a week where you make a couple $100 that very first month minimum. So I encourage people to hold their spot. And the trick there is to just ask for it. I don't have any background in sales. You guys met my wife, so I'm a salesman. But other than that, I've never done any type of direct sales. I just believe in this. And I totally know that I've read from our system, our training system has taught me that 80-90% of communication is nonverbal. I totally believe in our app from a customer point of view. I totally believe in the products on there, which are just getting started. And I am sold out to the member side of things. And so that comes across to people. So I just have to ask after I've answered some questions. So it sounds like you're ready to move forward. I encourage you to, I don't make money directly by you holding your spot. So this makes no difference to me. But it'd be a smart thing to do. If you were my brother or my sister, I would encourage you to go ahead and hold your spot. It doesn't matter to me if you do it or not, but you'll be mad at me down the road if I don't at least offer you this opportunity. Would you like to go ahead and hold your spot today? And I shut up and I let them think if they want to. And most of the time they say yes, just because if you don't ask, the answer is always no. And I don't care if they do it or not, because I know if I can get them on one of these for a second look or get them in the first night audios or get them in front of somebody else successful, they're going to get started eventually. But it does make sense for them to do it right then because they get in line. All of a sudden, I had a guy that I did a plan for this afternoon, Eric, he's probably on this call. And I said, Eric, you did hold my spot. You were kind of tied up. You couldn't do a whole lot for several months last fall. I said, when you came back around, how many new people were on your team? He goes, you guys had put 45 people on my team in those few months. I was like, I didn't know it was that many. But yeah, that's the value of getting in line. So it's easy to sell because I believe in it. Different teams grow at different paces. So that always isn't going to happen. But if people will get in line across the board, they'll use that app. They'll start working through this process. They will always go forward to be successful and they'll be excited about it. So I lead them in that direction and then book a meeting for a meeting and start helping them through that process. Is that kind of what
Randy? Yeah, let me dig into that a little bit because I think there's something called unconscious competence, and what you guys on the call right now are seeing is Randy's unconscious competence, right? So he's gotten so good at this that some of the things, it's kind of funny. My wife's doing all the teaching now because the teachers aren't doing it. The kids are home, so they're doing so the first day, Lisa gets all this information, and Lisa's like, "This makes no sense to me." And what you find out is the teachers understand it to a level where they say stuff that makes sense to them. But Lisa's like, I have no idea what you just did, And that's what Randy is. He's gotten so good at this that so I want to just back it up and slow it down for someone wanting to learn tonight. So one thing I caught when you said there, so you said you were just on a plan with Eric. So I'm assuming Eric introduced the plan to somebody and the three of you were working together, right?
Yes, sir. I did multiple of those today. That's correct. Okay,
so this is cool, and this is neat because it's kind of cool. If you're working with like a Steve Lurkwin or a Gary Knauer or Rick, or I could name off tons of people, Jamie Fisher, Lyndon Bell, Jeff Harmon, a Chris Shaw. Like I could go on. There's a ton of people that are very competent at this. And what's happened is I got a sneaking suspicion they have some extra time on their hands too, and they're probably home right now. And it's kind of weird because what's happened here is we've all been having to like be quarantined, but yet it's actually shrunk the world because now, like, think about this. I know Randy lives in Atlanta. If Randy wanted to go meet, who'd you just say you met with him? Eric. So if Randy was going to go meet Eric and they had to both drive to a Chick-fil-A, it would probably take them anywhere from an hour to 3 days in Atlanta, depending on traffic. In a normal situation. Right. And so Randy would have to drive an hour, spend an hour and drive. That's 3 hours where suddenly Randy can do it right from his office. Eric can do it right from his office. The new guy can do it right from their home. And suddenly in seconds, you're online. It takes very little time. But here's what I heard. One, Eric did a great job because he's like, okay, I got Randy willing to help me. So I'm going to connect the two. And Randy, what I love what you did then is you could point to, so Eric probably had a relationship with his new guy that he brought over, right? And now Randy said, so Randy said, well, Eric, listen to what, Eric, well, when you got started, you decided to become a top customer and hold your spot. And Eric's like, well, yeah. Do you think that was a good idea? Well, yeah. So now the guy's friend is saying, I did it and it's a good idea. And then Randy explained why it's a good idea. So that was a pretty powerful thought of why you should try to connect with a coach, right? So one of those squares I showed you was, how do you do that? Well, when you're brand new, you want to leverage someone like a Randy or someone that you're working with that knows how to do this, because you said it, Randy, when you get done and you're like, hey, what did you like best? And they're going to like something. It's hard not to like what we're offering here. It's not like we're trying to sell lipstick or something or something that, that they may or may not like. This is pretty universal, right? Something they'll like, but they probably also will have a few questions. And I love it because when someone that like a Randy, now, Eric's a great guy. I'm not saying Eric wouldn't even know the answers, but Randy comes in as the expert coach. And so now the new person can ask a question and Randy can give confident answers to knock those down. Because here's why. Randy, you've probably noted this too. When someone is excited about this, the best time for that, help them take the next step is while they're excited. Every hour or every day that goes by where they're removed from hearing Randy share, life gets in there, business gets in there, they forget what they heard, they forget why they were excited. And so helping people make the decision right off the bat is so key, because it's not a massive decision, right? It's really a $120 decision for 3 days, and then it'll be a $30-some decision after that to hold their spot. It's not a massive financial commitment. So Randy, at that moment, like, go dig a little deeper in, like, so you call them back, you answer a few of their questions, or shoot down maybe some objections or thought they have. And then a key point you said too is you ask them to get started, right? And that, I know for me, like, man, there's so many people I would show them, I'd do all the work to show them, that I'd leave and let them think about it for 4 days, you know, and it's like, that is such a key point. So again, take it from there. So you've asked them, and then you get quiet, you let them make an answer. So what is the process? So me, you, and Eric are on the phone right now. I'm the new guy. How do you get me started like this over Zoom?
Great question. And realize what set that all up, and you alluded to this, was Eric edified me. Eric, and I had to teach him how to do that process, but Eric makes me sound like I'm the grand poobah, and I'm not. Eric's been around me long enough to know I've got flaws. I'm far from perfect, but I tell him, don't tell your prospect that, okay? Tell him that I'm successful here, which we are blessed, right? And that gives me some leverage. So I think some people are afraid to ask people if they're ready to get started because they don't want to hear the word no. And I've learned that if you don't ask, the answer is already no. So there's really no harm there. And the reason it's easier for me to do is because I don't care if they say yes. I know that getting started or don't getting started that day doesn't mean a thing. It's a process. We don't do one of those sign them up deals where we're wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, out of here type stuff. I'm going to book a meeting with him and help him move forward. If he's signed up, great. People start getting on his team, but it's the same process. If he's not signed up, I'm going to start walking him through that process. And you alluded to my favorite teaching part. In the app, there's a thing called a getting started. It won't show up for 72 hours, but if I can get him into those apps and get him into that getting started section, it is a fabulous tutorial about how to start building the community. So that's that. And then of course, booking a meeting for meeting and helping them walk through that process of contacting or getting out a video, whatever process you're taking.
That's good. Now, Randy, are you getting them started, right? Like if the three of us are on, would you have Eric send me the link like right over the call and then walk me through the app? How have you been doing that?
Yeah, like I talked about at the end of the call, I found that if you just send a link, and I know you've experienced this too, because I think you're the one that taught me this. If you just send them a link, it can get disappeared. They're busy. Or I know when we first changed this setup, because it is the sign up process, as I said, is in beta. We first changed it in March. With some of our leaders who are putting in a bunch of people, we were going back and forth with customer support, trying to get it straightened out. It's like, okay, let's just stop sending that link, and let's only send that link when we can spend about 5 minutes on the phone with them and check this box, don't check this box. Here's what's next, and walk them through the process. It's easier for them. It only takes a couple of minutes, and the mistakes aren't made, and it cleans up the whole process. So absolutely, I don't just send that link and say, fill it out later. We're not going anywhere. If you're ready to get started, we're not going anywhere until we can do it together.
That's awesome. And I love it because it's like, I just asked somebody that question the other day. Well, yeah, it sounds like it's something I want to do. And so I said, great. Do you have 5 to 10 minutes right now? Because what I can do is I can send you a link, but I need to walk you through it. Because again, remember, when you're linking systematic, if I take the time to walk Randy through setting it up properly, now Randy knows how to help somebody else set it up properly. See, everything we do, we're thinking, how is this going to be duplicated and learned? And so if you're brand new tonight, or if you're going to talk to somebody tomorrow, that is so key. It's like, Randy, Randy, you hit it. It's like when you have posture and belief, like you got to realize the more you use this app, the more you realize everybody should be using it. Then the more money you make at this, you realize, man, Lisa and I make, well, I'll use me, not Lisa, she's smarter, but I make way more money than I'm smart enough to make. like sometimes I look at what I get paid and think, this is crazy. I didn't bring any of those skills. I don't have an MBA. I didn't do any of those things. Rick announced me as a best-selling author. I hated English class. I never thought I didn't like reading books, let alone writing a book. And yet everything I needed I was taught right through this process, right? When I shared that slide, like those 4 corners that Randy and I were just kind of digging deep into, you got to figure out what drives you, what's going to make you do this. And I tell you what, there couldn't be a better time than to do it right now. And I'm going to dig down deeper into that 100-pound bonus real quickly, and then just start learning. Just start learning. Don't expect to know everything right away, but you don't have to know everything to share an app. That's what I love about it. You don't have to know everything to do what Eric did and introduce people to Randy, right? It's not like it takes a genius to get on there, use this app and share it with somebody, and let the person walk you through it. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to move forward with it through the process, because so let me wrap up with this hunker down bonus stuff, then we'll let everybody go, because I could sit and ask you questions all night, Randy, and I think maybe in the future we'll do a training call where I have Jeff Harmon and Chris Shaw are just killing it right now, and so maybe we'll have like a panel where people can text questions in and we could just go back and dig deep, because I think we're on the verge of taking this viral, and I hate to use that word in today's times, but I mean, it literally, our curve is just growing. Like Randy said, we were growing 10, 30, 40% month over month since we've launched this new program. And then this craziness hit, and we still grew 20-some% last month, even in the middle of this. And the last week, we actually were accelerating, because the first 2 weeks or middle weeks in March, everybody kind of got knocked off, and some people were losing their jobs, and it gets a little bit crazy in that time. And now we've kind of figured out this process. And the end of March, it just started taking off again. And so I think April is going to be huge. And so here's the key in April. If you're on this call and you're like, you know what, I got to make money now, Dan. I mean, great long-term B-type business. Sounds great. $300,000 a year, like Randy was talking, man, that sounds great, but I know I'm not going to get that this week. But you can start earning that type of hourly income if you're willing to work this. And that's so Jeff Harmon told me the other day, he took one day, and I think he signed up, I can't remember, it was 6 or 8 people in one day. He said, I was just going to take a few hours and treat it like a job, make some phone calls, get on some Zooms, walk people through the app, explain what Randy, and sign up. He signed up 6, I can't remember, it was 6 or 8, I'll have to ask him, top customers in that time, to which he got $80 per top customer sign up. Now that's huge. It's probably close to like $100 an hour he earned by doing that. And it's because we're offering these these higher bonuses. So here's what I'd recommend if you're brand new. One, if you're brand new tonight and you're not even involved, become a top customer and ask Randy. They can send you information. Like Randy said, that little button won't show up for 3 days. So if you're hungry, ask the person to send you some information. They can text it right to you. It's super easy to do. You can start learning right away. And I know Randy is a lot like me. What I look for is not somebody to tell me they want to do this, is somebody that shows me they want to do this. Like Lisa and I have run a multi-million-dollar business for over a decade. I don't need somebody to ask for my help and say they want to do it. I'm looking for people that are responding to it. So what does that look like? They're listening to the materials I'm sending them, right? So when we have a conversation, it's an intelligent one because they've listened to something. They're already up to speed. We can go much quicker if you do a little bit of self-education with the stuff you get sent tonight. The person I'm working with is for sure bought a $25 ticket. Randy, you got some thoughts on that? I see you smiling.
No, you're exactly right. If people, I was taught, you don't watch somebody's lips, you watch their feet. And everybody starts at different paces, and we'll meet people wherever they are. I'll run whatever speed they want to run at. But the person that's really into the system, really listening to the audios, really into the books, really studying that getting started section, like you're saying, that's the guy or gal or the couple that I want to run with. So yeah, I was just laughing because you're 100% correct.
Yeah, that's right. And it's like, so we have this big, these are free ones we do every now and then to introduce people to the concept. But just like, it's like if you go to a college fair, they'll introduce you to the concept of going to college for a degree, but the degree isn't free. You got to go get paid for it and get education. So this is introducing you to it, and you can get started on the platform. You can start using it, getting all the benefits Randy talked about. But on the 18th, we have the top performers in the industry that are giving a live event. And I think Rusti said it's $25 for a household. So for access to it. So if it's you or you and your wife, that doesn't matter which one, it's $25. And you can get access to that event. And if you have to be in a place where you have to just be at home, great, you have access to it. Or you can get together a few people. But again, figure out how to purchase a ticket. Commit yourself to that, because that's good. I was just working on with the other founders, the lineup yesterday. We had a meeting about it. Maybe it's today. And we got all the speakers on a call. And you're going to hear from, I believe it's, I'm going through my head now. I think it's 6 different couples throughout the evening. And then it's going to end with Chris and Orrin. So Orrin Woodward and Chris Brady, 2 of Inc. magazine's top leadership experts, are going to wrap up the evening with some teaching. And so you're not going to want to miss that. So that being said, get started as top customer, become a student, start learning as fast as you can. Goes back to that little little thing I shared in the beginning, that little picture. It's like, man, if you get through these next 30 days of quarantine and you haven't learned something new, haven't started something bringing you an extra income, and haven't learned new skills, you wasted the 30 days. You wasted it. Like, there are going to be people that come out of this and kind of walking around like, okay, good, it's over, let's get back to work. And there are going to be others who are on their way to freedom because they started putting this together. So who do you want to share this with? In April, so we're April 2nd right now, if you can develop 600 points of customer volume. So the simplest way to do that is get 6 top customers started, or get 5 top customers and 5 regular customers for $30 started. You'll have way more than 600 points, and you'll earn that 50% plus bonus. So if you find 6 other people in the next 30 days or 28 days, however many days are left here, that's minimum a $300 bonus you'll make this month. And you're like, wait, Randy said it cost $154 to get in. And you just told me a minimum I'll make $300 if I get 6, and you'll make more than that because there's a few other bonuses that you'll qualify for. Yeah, that's as simple as it gets. And you're like, and wait, you're telling me that Randy will actually do all the hard work and talk to these people with me, and I can let Randy do the work and I'll get paid? Yep, I know it's not fair for Randy. But long term, Randy's gone through the short term money himself, and he makes money for doing that himself. He's building long term wealth. And the way Randy gets long term wealthy, the way Lyndon Bell or Jeff Harmon or Steve Lurkwin or Jamie Fisher, or I can go on, Darren Straw, I can go on and on. The way they get long term wealthy and build multi-million-dollar businesses is by helping others win. And so that's what we do. And so you're tied to someone who wants to help you get that bonus, wants to help you make that $300+ in the next 30 days. There was a guy I was talking to with Orrin that made $1,300 in March. He got started March 10th, I believe Orrin said. And by March 31st, he got like $1,300 is going to be his bonus. Wow. So that's less than the first 30 days. He's going to make a $1,300 bonus. And the guy's like, man, after 30 days, I'm on track to start earning what? Yeah. So now in April, he can add to that. So he's built a foundation of subscriptions and people utilizing the app. Now in April, he's like, and so what do you tell Orrin in April? In April, I'm going to aim for making $2,500 a month or this month. And he'll be able to. And he's literally building a foundation that every month you make more because your work you did last month repeats this month. Randy said it, a 95% retention rate of people staying on the app and using it month after month. So that's crazy stuff. So that means if you got 100 people started in April, 95% of them or more are still using the app the next month in March, and you get paid again. Or I'm sorry, if March, the next one you paid in April. And so that's powerful. So you're tied with some great people. Randy, you did a phenomenal job. I actually want to get that recording from you and send it over to Orrin, because Orrin asked me, Dan, if you had to say who are the top communicators across Zoom, who would it be? And this is the first time I've seen you present this across, might be ever. Have I ever seen you show this? I don't know. Every time I come to Atlanta, he makes me work, so I don't get to see him do it when I'm in Atlanta. But just phenomenal job. I know I'm going to get messages. I've been getting them throughout the night like crazy. And so, man, if you were new tonight, you were blessed to see that for your first time. When you watch me next time, don't expect it to be that good. Randy set the bar pretty high. So I appreciate you, Randy. Awesome job, man. And I'll talk to everybody real soon. But get rolling. Figure out who you can introduce to this and take advantage of this extra bonus we're paying out in the month of April, and tie to your coach and let them guide you through the process. So again, Randy, thanks a lot, bud. Appreciate you, man.
Dan, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you.
Have a great night, everybody.